This is a direct response to Ethan Van Sciver. I am not someone who makes much, if any, online content. I tend to just watch and observe things a lot. I don't even really get into any of the Twitter spats that go on. But this particular tweet really, really bothered me for a couple different reasons. So I just want to state off the bat that I don't hate Ethan Van Sciver. I kind of like him. I used to like him more. I like him less in the past 6 to 8 months. I've liked him less. But I don't hate the guy. I have no ill will for him. But this particular tweet really, really bothered me to the point where I'm now making this video. And the tweet says, "That's right, OG Comicsgate is dead. If they aren't picking up their movement of harassing mainstream SJW creators with videos about SJW comics, then it's dead. And it's OG Comicsgate's fault. The rest of us actually banded together and did something positive with the movement." There are multiple problems with this tweet. Comicsgate was never a harassment campaign. And this tweet, all for what, 2 years now, we've been saying this isn't about harassment. It's not about harassing creators. We don't like the direction the books are going. You know, Comicsgate means a lot of things to a lot of different people, but it was never just this straight up harassment campaign. To me, it was a consumer revolt, and us as customers saying, "Hey, Marvel, DC, you do better. Enough with the political overtones and the heavily biased politics going one way. You know, not every superhero is a progressive Democrat, and that's partly what got me to buy less books, was because I was just sick of the preachy message. And here, you know, for years we were saying this wasn't about harassment. That's what our the detractors of the movement and the opposers of the movement were saying. And here you have EVS, who, for all intents and purposes, became the face and or leader of the movement, saying that it was, you know, harassing mainstream SJW creators. Now, I think that's pretty effed up, because in a way you threw all those people who were CG and supported you under the bus, because we were saying this wasn't about harassment. Here you are, effectively the face of the movement, saying that we were if we're not harassing people, then the movement's dead. And to me, that is you throwing those who have supported you under the bus, and particularly anyone who's been critical of you. You know, that's where I see a lot of that coming from, is when it comes to you have very thin skin. You like to pretend that you don't. And I'm just talking to you. I'm just keeping it honest with you. I'm being real with you. I'm talking to you like a man, like any other man would. All right? You have very thin skin. You don't handle criticism well at all. You know, about a year ago, a little over a year ago, Unranked Chevron had a video. And this video is what caused the big debate between you and I Love Comics. So, not I Love Comics, Englentine. Apologies, Englentine. And Unranked Chevron, his video basically said that Comicsgate was turning into the EVS in his friends club. And he was 100% right. That's exactly what it turned into. Comicsgate is no longer about showing the pros in the industry who are gatekeeping people out of the industry, showing them that, hey, we can take what you do and do it better. We can take what you do and actually make a profit doing it. We can take what you do and show you that there is an audience out there beyond who is in your little Twitter sphere bubble. All right? And you took that and you co-opted it. So where Comicsgate is now, to me, it's meaningless. It's meaningless because all Comicsgate is now is YouTube drama streams. It's all about getting your super chats, and I'm not mad at you or anybody else for making money. Do your thing. I'm supportive of that. Do what you gotta do. Make your money, But you co-opted a movement for yourself, and with this one tweet, pissed and shit on everyone who built the foundation for which you are now thriving. Now, I'm not saying you didn't take any lumps along the way, because you did. You did. You got some criticism. You got some backlash for things. And for the most part, we as a community supported you. And now you have the audacity to say the rest of us banded together and did something positive with the movement. Who the fuck do you think you are? Did something positive? No. This shit started to go downhill the second you started chilling with those war campaign clowns. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's the start. That was the beginning of the end for what Comicsgate was. Because these dudes, they're your personal cheerleaders. A bunch of grown-ass men bowing to another man, calling him Caesar. Kissing the ring. And the only time you ever came out and condemn them is when it started to hurt you. But you leave them alone for the most part, and you have them on your stream, and that's fine. You do what you want. It's your stream. But how do you expect someone like me to support you? And I can take a joke. I'm a 9-year combat veteran. Okay? I can handle jokes. I have a pretty dark sense of humor. But when we're supposed to be showing the pros in the mainstream that we can do things better than them, all right, you lose what little moral high ground we had to begin with. Well, I shouldn't say little moral high ground, but what moral high ground we had to begin with, we lose. Because you're letting you say you don't control them, they're grown men, and I agree with you and to an extent, but you have influence with them. And you enjoyed them running your defense. And because they kiss your ass, you don't come out and say shit to them publicly when they do fucked up things with their constant dildo memes. And I think dildos can be funny, but Jesus Christ, you got to come to a point where enough's enough. And where is that? Oh, it's all jokes. It's all jokes, man. You co-opted this shit. And I'm going to tell you something. I noticed this when you had the thing with Nurkish, okay? And you said to Nurkish, I can't be associated with you because it hurts my brand. Now, you'll sit up here and say, oh, I meant Comic Artist Pro Secrets. That's my brand. No, you were talking about Comicsgate. You're not gonna Jedi mind trick me, okay? You were talking about Comicsgate. And I know you were talking about Comicsgate because when the whole thing with Vox Day went down, you were saying Comicsgate was your brand. You were going to copyright it because you were going to protect it. You do Comicsgate live every day. It's your brand. And you're right. It is your brand now. Because Comicsgate, at this point, is whatever you say it is. And if you say they're in, they're in. If you say they're out, they're out. And I find it interesting because you don't even have the best book in Comicsgate. The best book to come out of this whole Comicsgate thing is Soul Finder Demons Match by Doug Ernst. That is hands down the best book to come out of Comicsgate so far. And I should know because I have 10 books from Comicsgate? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books, and I believe I have 4 more waiting to be fulfilled. So Mitch Breitweiser, please. Red Rooster, that was the book I was most interested in. From the jump. It's been a year and a half since you launched your campaign. This book was supposed to be out, a year ago? Tell me how you're any better than B. Clay Moore. And don't get it twisted. I like you and your wife a ton. I don't even hate Ethan. I like him less because he took something that was special and unique, all right, and he bastardizes it for himself. You took this Comicsgate thing that had so much potential. And you can say, hey, we're making money and that's all you care about. You're making money. And I'm not mad at you for making money. Make your money, bruh. But don't expect people like myself to blindly support you. You know, we're supposed to be better. We were supposed to do better. And because of you and your war campaign buddies, you run this thing into the ground. Like I said, I'm rambling. I don't do this. I'm just getting some shit off my chest. This has been pent up for me for over a year. You know, one of the books I was the most interested in within the past year was Vestige. I didn't back Vestige because I don't want to give a fucking penny to those war campaign clowns. They won't get a fucking dime from me. And it sucks because typically I can separate the art from the artist. I don't think you're the greatest guy in the world, Ethan, but I was interested in Cyberfrog. The book was a little disappointing for me. I thought I was getting a complete story. I didn't know it was going to be like a to be continued thing. But that's fine. Overall, I was happy with the product. But I can't sit up here and honestly say, you just got me in the bag. You've had, 5 fucking campaigns for this book now? I get it, supply and demand, but I'm not a sucker. I'm not a sucker, bro. You're not going to sell me the same thing with a different cover 5 times. It ain't happening. And I'm seeing online, you got people who backed the original Cyberfrog campaign. Some of them still haven't gotten their books. And you're already launching another one. Maybe you've mailed them. I don't know. Maybe you did. If you did, great. But it doesn't look right. This is about the optics here. And the optics on this whole situation right now are bad. Real bad. How you guys gonna turn on Doug Ernst? Doug Ernst has more integrity in his finger than most of y'all do in your entire bodies. He's the only creator since this whole thing started who has stayed the same, consistent, non-stop. His principles have not changed. His videos have not changed. The way he handles the situations that get thrown at him have not changed. He's been the same guy since Jump Street. You have changed. And it's largely, in my opinion, because your ego's getting the better of you and it's pissing on something that was a consumer movement. And you're pissing on it just because at the end of the day, all that matters is your bank account. It must be great being that shallow.